Hello and welcome to another Foundation update. So last week I said that I was going to work on the event resolution piece. Well, I didn't do that. The more I tried to work on that piece of functionality, the more I realized that it heavily depended upon the groups of interest and a couple of other key points that I hadn't put any time and effort into. So instead of working on event resolution, I dived headfirst into groups of interest and started working heavily on them. Because of that, this is going to be somewhat of a light update because a lot of the work this week has been back-end and design. Working on the groups of interest and how they'll be structured, how the logic will work, how behaviors will work. There's a lot of things to figure out. A lot of that work has now been completed, but it means that I don't have a whole lot to show you on it right now. However, there are a few things I can show you. I will. So first of all, you may have seen the images I put out on the IndieDB site, but someone was wanting a new base icon and I made a new base icon. That's the appearance for now. It'll probably get better over time, especially as people figure out what they'd like to see for base icon. I'm not necessarily the best person with that kind of thing, so if you have suggestions for what it should look like, throw them at me. Otherwise, I'll keep iterating and trying to figure out better designs. Also, if we send out here a helicopter, the helicopter is now 35% smaller and has this visibility icon now. So I can make it even smaller if we want, but I kind of like the way it is right now. So finally, something I forgot to mention about is the moon now doesn't rotate faster than it ever should be able to rotate. It revolves around the Earth at the same speed that it would normally. So normal moon cycles now. Yay. So here is the External Affairs Report. This is where I started to get going on some of the groups of interest and putting them together. It's not very finished. There's a lot of placeholder spots for images, as you can tell, but here we can see some statistics for groups of interest. Countries will also be implemented as groups of interest, so they will have a report that also comes up on the same tab. Here's the Chaos Insurgency, here's the Serpent Hand. They're the two that I have right now. So we'll have an estimated level of support, and the better your infiltration is, the more likely that information is to be accurate. And the level of support is basically funding, supplies, things like that. There's also the stability level. Some groups of interests are very fractured. Some of them have infighting that goes on. The lower the stability of a group, the more likely they are to have fighting and events that occur because they are splintering. And these splintering events, if you are doing a lot of searching around, you might notice these splinter events pop up on the map, and you can send out teams to intercept these events and put them down, and in that way take out both sides and severely weaken the group. Then below there is the relation status with the Foundation. That shows you what level of cooperation you have with them. Down here is estimated goal completion. GOIs will work towards completing goals. You won't always know specifically what they're working on. In some cases, like the Church of the Broken God, it'll be pretty obvious. They're trying to put together the Broken God. And when these groups of interests complete their goals, then, well, in many cases, bad things will happen. And again, this is a report menu, not the management menu. So taking actions will occur on the management version of the external affairs. That funky triangle in the middle is not done yet, but it will be a way to show, by clicking on these buttons on the left, it will map all of the various groups of interests according to different variables and show you where they lie and how close to each other they lie. However, I will say that I'm not particularly thrilled with how the report design has come out so far. I have a feeling I'm missing a lot of information that would be helpful. If there's information you think that should be on this screen, let me know. This is the report, so it's information, not actions. Also, there will be a separate tab for espionage and infiltration. And so that report details will be on that tab and not this one. This one's for the political interactions. That's basically what I've got for this week. However, now that I am starting into groups of interest, there's a lot of information I want to share and get feedback on how I'm going to implement each various group of interest. I'm probably going to use that as an opportunity to discuss things over the holidays, because I will be releasing a video next week, but the next 2 weeks I will probably be away from computers and won't be able to put out a video. At least I won't be next to a development computer. I'll probably just have access to some crappy stuff that, however, what I'll probably do is use that opportunity to put out a lot of blog posts discussing various groups of interest and how they will operate. And I might even start that next week if I just get too excited about making them, because I am pretty excited about opening up this dialogue about the groups of interest and how they will act. It's going to be a pretty cool part of the game. And hopefully this screen gives you a few glimpses into what I'm looking at for implementing the groups of interest. So feel free to throw your questions and feedback at me. I will talk to you next week. Thank you for watching.